The Switch 2 Direct happened a little bit ago, and I asked you guys what you wanted to see. And most of y'all picked my thoughts on the Direct. So here they are. I'll go through the Direct and talk about how I feel about things I noticed. I'll mainly be focusing on the actual console and Mario Kart World, but I'll talk about other things too. Let's begin. The first 30 seconds of the Direct is a really cool intro that, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen before. Then we get a really cool westerny shot, and then you see Mario, and I think this is the perfect way to start the Direct because everyone knows Mario Kart. We then see a ton of characters. I don't think there's any new ones here. Then we see Daisy in a boat, Rosalina on a snowmobile, DK in an airplane, so I'm assuming the vehicles change. After a bit, you see the rails, and I think this is going to be a huge part of the game, along with the wall jump things. I think this will feel different, but fun. Anyways, then you see the frickin' cow from Moo Moo Meadows, and this shocked me. I won't go into characters, but there's a lot of crazy ones. We then see some items, and it's pretty standard. I don't know what happens with this train, and the burgers change your outfit. Also, I love this Peach outfit. We then see the game title, Mario Kart World. The open world idea is really cool. I like the changing time and weather. I don't know how I feel about driving to the next track, but I'll have to play it for myself to see. I will say, Knockout Tour seems really fun, so I hope they do it right. And I think Free Roam will be fun, but I hope it's more than just looking around. I kind of hope the new tracks play more open world and the retro tracks are more standard. Anyways, I'm really excited. I yapped for a while, so let me know if you want a video like this on the Mario Kart World Direct. Next we see the Joy-Con 2s. Wow, super original name. Anyway, the C button rumors/theories/predictions were right. This button does voice chat, technically called game chat. And I'm glad this is here, however I don't know how useful it'll be. I'm glad there's a button though, that'll make things easier. Also, I like the use of the camera, however why is this $50? And it's probably used for like 2 games and seeing people while chatting. I feel like the idea is good, but I don't know if the $50 camera is worth it, and who knows how good the mic is. However, I would rather be here than not, but this should have just been on the first Switch. There's also Game Share, and I like this a lot, but once again, why was this not on the first Switch? And why is it Switch 2 exclusive? Like, come on, this was on the DS in 2004, and we can't have it on the original Switch? It does work on the Switch if you have a Switch 2 though, so that's good. And once again, I'm glad it's here, but it should have been on Switch 1. Also, Nintendo tells us this super useful info about the yellow Switch Lite, because people watching this are interested in buying one. Next, Nintendo talks about the console itself, and yeah, this is definitely a big upgrade. The video quality will be a lot better, and 120 FPS is crazy. The new screen is also an improvement, and hopefully the magnets are as sturdy as they seem. Also, the bigger buttons are great, especially the side buttons. Hopefully single Joy-Con play is now fun rather than a punishment, especially because the Pro Controller is $80 and new Joy-Cons are $90. On the bright side, the Joy-Cons and Pro Controller from the original Switch do look like they're compatible. There's also mouse controls, which surprised no one. I don't know how many games will use this, but it looks really good and it will hopefully be useful for some games, and also it'll probably help with menus. Then they talk about the kickstand, which looks usable, unlike the old one. Now we just have to hope it doesn't expose the SD card. Speaking of SD cards, you don't immediately need one since there's more storage. The new dock is also great. The 4K option is crazy. Side note, Mii's are still in the settings. Why are the Mii's still in the settings? All in all, the new console seems a lot better. But it'd be better if the Mii's were on the home screen and not in the settings. Next, Nintendo talks about Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And while this doesn't seem like the most exciting game ever, it's still nice to be able to know more about how the console works. The mini games in this game also seem like fun, for about 5 minutes. Overall, this is cool. I have 2 issues though. First, why are these people? This is the perfect chance to use Mii's. And second, why on earth does this game cost money? This game seems like the perfect pack-in game, but no, you have to pay for this on top of all the other over expensive things. I wouldn't even consider buying this unless it's under $10, and even then there is a very low chance that I actually do buy this. The new game cards are now red, so that's cool. The express cards are definitely more expensive, but I get why they did it because it's faster loading, which is great. And there's enough storage to where you don't immediately have to buy it. It would be nice if normal micro SD cards work too though. Also, we can transfer game data, and this is something that I am so glad we have. I also like the new Pro Controller design. It's a nice upgrade, not as crazy as the Joy-Con upgrades, but still good. Then Nintendo randomly announces the launch day, which I think is actually a really good time. I mean, we only have to wait 2 months or so, but it's still weird how the launch date was just randomly thrown in. Speaking of the launch date, I have a challenge for y'all. Get me to 1,000 subscribers before the Switch 2 releases and I'll do a Q&A. Subbing really does help, and not a ton of my viewers are subbed. Also, shout out to everyone who is subscribed. Thank you so much. Anyways, back to the video. Nintendo then talks about the different types of games. Switch 2 and Switch 1 games make sense, and I like Switch 2 editions, but why do we have to pay? If it's like Breath of the Wild, it's something that should have originally been there and it should be free. If it's like Forgotten Land, just sell it as DLC. I hope the upgrades are only like $10. The new Jamboree edition looks cool, but this could have just been Switch 2 exclusive DLC. I like how they added mouse controls, and I feel like this will work either really well or it won't work at all. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom both look really good, and I like the concept of Zelda notes, but I don't think it'll be that useful, and overall this should have just been free. Speaking of Tears of the Kingdom, I still need to finish that game. Anyways, Kirby on the other hand has full-blown DLC, and this seems worth it, but this also could have just been DLC. I also need to beat this game. There's also Metroid and Pokemon, and I'm not a huge fan of either series, but the upgrades look good, and maybe I'll play them on Switch 2. We'll see. Nintendo then announces Dragon Drive, and I don't see myself playing this because I'm not super into games like that. That being said, it still looks really good, and I think that it'll be fun if you're into that style of game. I do like the use of mouse controls here though. Nintendo then talks about a ton of third-party games, and I'm not super into any of these, so I'm not going to talk about them, but if you are into these, that's great. I hope you have fun. Then I saw Tears of the Kingdom, and I was like, what the heck is this? I thought it was some kind of prequel game where you play as Zelda, and then I realized it was Hyrule Warriors. I haven't played the Hyrule Warriors games, but this one looks really cool, and I want to play it. Especially because I love the story of Tears of the Kingdom, and I feel like they could explain so much here. So hopefully I can play this game because it looks awesome. Then Nintendo throws out GameCube games, and I'm really glad this is here, but I also was definitely not expecting it. I do have a Wii, but I don't have any GameCube controllers, so this is essentially all new games for me. And it's great because I'd much rather have this bundled than have to individually buy GameCube games. There's nothing crazy here because it's just retro games, but it's still pretty exciting. Then we see a Star and Kirby, and bam, Kirby's Air Riders. I haven't played the original, but this looks fun, and considering I love Mario Kart, I think this will be a ton of fun to play, so I want to definitely get this game. And finally, a new DK game. Donkey Kong Bananza. This is another game that looks really cool, and hopefully I can get it. I definitely don't think this will be my favorite game, but it still looks like it'll be fun to play, and it has a very unique aesthetic and vibe. Then they announced the Mario Kart World Bundle, and let's be honest, this is what everyone's buying considering it's $30 off. I still think the console being $450 and Mario Kart being $80 is a bit too much. I know there's inflation, and I get games being $70, but $80 for Mario Kart? It should have been $400 for the console and $70 for Mario Kart. Subscribe if you want to help me afford all this. So yeah, that's all I have. I'm really excited for the Switch 2. While there are some things I don't like, overpriced items, I'm still super excited for the console because it's a huge improvement and everything it needs to be. Anyways, thank you so much for watching me yap for 10 minutes. If you got this far, you clearly enjoyed the video, so I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I'll do a Q&A if I get to 1,000 subs before the Switch 2 releases. While we're waiting for Mario Kart World, you can watch me show you 25 ways to fall off the track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Bye!